Jad, even if you don't have a brain, do you think these children, your age mates and those younger than you, will watch and live in this state of hopelessness? Is that not stretching things too far?
Even if you don't have a brain.
Surely, even if you don't have a brain. Do you think these people are going to live in a country as they watch the misery their parents are going through and have gone through over the years? Ndio mwanzo mkoko unaalika maua. Ibado ngoma ndio inakaushwa. Wakisikia tuning ya ngoma wanafikiri dance imeanza. I am warning my age mates and advising them and preparing them. You ain't seen nothing yet, as Americans will say.
Great to see you. Hello there and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jadel Kabir. It is always a pleasure to have you joining us every single time for these conversations to help build politics and policy here in the country. I'm here with Prof. Manyora. Great to see you, sir. Raila Odinga says it's time for compensation for Gen Z victims that passed during last year's protests. Again, we have seen the arrest of Rose Njeri, who is a web developer, coming up with a website to showing how the finance bill is.
Who even reads such a thing?
To reject it. But she's in Pangani.
But who reads them? And who advises this government? Who cares about a website? Who cares? Until they arrested her.
And now it has.
Who cared? And the same government has people, some of them I know, who are paid to be in charge of communication. The same government has many ICT experts on the payroll. Why can't they just check and see how many people have visited that website? You know, these leaders we have in this country, I cannot believe this is stupidity of the highest level. Why can't they even just check how many people have visited that website?
You get 15 clicks.
Before you arrest somebody,
yes,
an innocent Kenyan. In the process, even the international community is wondering what's wrong with Kenya. Organizations are up in arms. Kenyans are up in arms. Why didn't they care to find out how many people? I have not checked, I even don't know. But as a person in media, see, I'm in this space.
Yes.
I can tell you nobody had looked at that thing. Nobody.
Now,
when I looked at it, even the way it is structured,
yes,
even people visiting it, they will not go beyond opening it. Well, these guys who get money from government, I'm almost naming them. Some of them are my friends, some of them my former students. Mbona usiambia serikali hata kina Nuruddin Haji bwana intelligence. Why can't you check how many people will have interacted with that website? Kenyans. And the way it is structured, I've now looked at it.
Yes.
Even me, I didn't even understand it.
And so this comes as we are waiting for budget reading and we are waiting for finance bill to be debated in parliament, and you ask, if this is the president's, what are we waiting for? If this arresting Njeri now is the president's of this budget reading and the finance bill, does this mean government isn't ready yet to deal with the issues of young people?
No, government is not ready. Government inafanya ukora, ujanja. Government is being clever. Like if I look at the finance bill, ni ujanja tu mbadi wametupa hapo ndani. Ujanja na somebody called whispers. You say being clever by half. Being clever by
half.
Government is being clever by half.
In what way? In which?
You say there are no taxes, but you do things inside there that even make the situation worse. So you are not being honest. And I want to repeat, and I've said it to anybody who cares to, wherever I am, I'm engaged in some things elsewhere, here and there, here. And I always tell people, you'll be surprised that straightforward, simple things work. Be straightforward, be simple, be honest, do the right thing. You'll be surprised at how well things will work for you.
Now, Raila is calling for compensation. This is after the president apologized. Even we haven't talked about the apology, but talk to me first about that apology from the president from the prayer breakfast. telling Kenyans, if we wronged you, we are sorry. And what should we expect now?
You know, apology is only an apology if there are no conditions. If it's a very serious condition, so you are not sure you are wronged anybody, then how are you apologizing? And it was not addressed to Gen Zs. It was an omnibus.
Blanket.
Yeah, with the Tanzania, Uganda, then una sneak in kidogo, Gen Z and young our children. That's not an apology to the Gen Zs, no. An apology begins with somebody being remorseful and honest and truthful. Well-intentioned, well-meaning. It begins with acknowledging. So if you say if, then you are not acknowledging. So the moment you have not acknowledged, then there's no apology. If, then it's not an apology. An apology is at the heat of the moment, faced with this new situation. This country had never faced that before, and you will agree with that. Nobody had ever thought people will break into parliament. Because of the new situation, we mishandled the situation. In the process, we did wrong things. We held our children in Communicado. We abducted our children. We injured our own children. We killed some of our own children. And I'm here on behalf of the government and the country to apologize. That is, you see, that's a different from that. So, what the president did was good, but it was not apology.
Won't that be self-incriminating from what you're saying?
Yeah, but if you see, Ruto is not like the British government. The British government told to acknowledge the Mau Mau atrocities.
Yes.
They must find English.
Yes.
You know, they speak English.
Not to self-incriminate.
No, they just speak English.
Yes.
At the end of the communication, what you have is just English. But if you ask the person, what are you saying? Beyond the English, nothing. So the president cannot do that to his own children. If Raila is saying compensation, what does that mean? It means you cannot compensate somebody if there's no wrongdoing. You get the contradiction.
Yes. So
the provocation from Ruto and the direct ownership, let's say ownership, let's just call it from Raila. Raila is saying compensate.
Because
if you compensate, it means you are the one in the wrong. If you compensate people who died, it means you killed them. If you compensated people who were abducted, it means you abducted them.
So this is what Raila was saying.
Yeah.
That government abducted these people.
Yes. If he says, I didn't hear him say. You are the one telling
I'm
me.
saying he said compensate.
If he said, how can you compensate? How do I compensate you if I have not wronged you?
I'm using your English.
Yeah. So how do I compensate you if I have not wronged you? I only compensate you if I have wronged you. So if Raila has said compensate, it means, according to him, the government has wronged his own people. And they must compensate them. Which is the position of ODM. And Azimio before Raila left. That's the position they had. But the president says, if we wronged you, we apologize. He cannot move from that so-called apology to compensation. He can't. But if he said things were bad, like Corona, people were saying KEMSA here, some few miserable shillings in terms of billions. In the UK, a lot of money was lost and elsewhere. The people said, the government said, faced with the situation of this new thing, nobody understood anything. So even those, what are they called? PPs or what? The protection
PPs.
For personal, whatever they were called.
Yes.
The protective gear, people, masks and what have you. Government spent so much money in the UK. By the time people go, how could you have bought this? It was something abrupt, new. Nobody had ever met it, an emergency. The reaction produced some very bizarre things like the costing. Let me tell you, my first mask, which I bought somewhere on Ngong Road, around Ngong Road, it's called Fifth Avenue Suits.
Yes.
I bought a mask there. and I paid 2,000 shillings. My first mask.
Yeah.
2,000 shillings. The girl punched. When she was punching, I was trying it on. Ikakatika. Katiak. The ones you are passing here with the rubber something. Katiak ikakatika. My 2,000 was already there. She was punching in the machine. I said, I'm not taking another one. Give me my 2,000. So they gave me the 2,502. They gave me. When I came to corner, I bought the same mask at 50 shillings. Same day, within an hour.
Yes.
So when you are faced with a complex situation, life-threatening, or threatening in whatever way, reactions can be bad. So somebody can explain that this Gen Z thing, nobody had imagined something like that could happen. And government could have overreacted or did overreact. And in the process, many ugly things happened.
But I want to know about accountability.
So you can say that and then you say, we take responsibility.
And that's why I'm asking.
I don't think compensating the people who died and were injured, I don't think it's beyond this government. In terms of monetary value, I don't think it is beyond the government. I don't think it's even 10 billion. We are not a rich nation. We are not known to, even ukiwawa na ndovu. The sort of compensation they give human beings, unless wewe ni mzungu.
Mzungu atapewa vizuri.
Anapewa kitu mzuri, lakini wewe miro, wewe mtu black, unaenda hapo na ngiri elfu 200,000-300,000 kama wewe ni Masai, kama Raya ni hapa.
You can handle compensation.
Yeah, so government could handle it. And we put this chapter behind us. We have had many chapters of government's involvement in ugly incidents. We need to begin dealing with our past.
What is so difficult with taking accountability and responsibility? Listen to Kindiki, Deputy President says young people need to respect their elders. Listen, this is the conversation from the government. We are too immoral. People lack discipline. Even when we ask questions about the budget, we ask questions about finance bill. Rosenjeri arrested for that website. Why is it difficult for government to just take accountability, responsibility, and let Kenyans speak up?
Government is running away from responsibility. Government doesn't want people to question, which is normal with any government across the world over the ages. But times are changing. Young people have tools we never had. They know what we are doing. They will question us in a way we could not have questioned anybody in the past, somebody in the past. We must appreciate the fact that times have changed. The tools in the hands of our children, we didn't have them. So they will continue questioning us. It will get worse. This is just a kionjo. Ndio mwanzo mkoko unaalika maua. Ibado. Ngoma ndio inakaushwa. Wakisikia tuning ya ngoma wanafikiri dance imeanza. I am warning my age mates and advising them and preparing them. You ain't seen nothing yet, as Americans will say. You ain't seen nothing yet. These boys will undress you. These girls will show you things. You should be prepared. My age mates should be prepared.
Quick fix for government.
Do the right thing. Work with the people. Work with the times. Listen to the people. I've always said this. Ruto has been very lucky. Unlike many presidents who face challenges, his challenges are clear. They are well defined. You can number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe at most up to 10. And all of them have direct answers. And most of the answers do not even require money. Forming a good government does not require money. It has no political danger. In some countries, if you touch your cabinet, you step into a landmine. Because of the political horse trading and the compromises you enter into as you form government. So you have a cabinet of 18. To touch just one, your government could go. Because that one could have brought certain votes if you're a parliamentary system, if a vote of no confidence came now, and you have touched just one minister, you can go home. So there is no political risk Ruto faces by reorganizing his government. There is no financial risk he faces. If Ruto were to look at taxes and say, surely these are my people, God has given me these people, and I'm a Christian. God has told me in the Bible, you leaders, take care of my people. It's written in the Bible. And these guys, they call themselves Christian. Just the other day, they were in a prayer breakfast. That hypocrisy annual ritual.
Oh, hypocrisy annual ritual.
The hypocritical annual ritual. Look at the taxes. Some of the taxes are so punitive that it cannot come from a government that feels for its people. What is the risk of reducing the tariffs on electricity? What is the political risk? Those cartels pose no danger to Ruto. No. What is the financial risk? Zero. It is people who are enriching themselves. They have already done so. They have earned billions from the energy sector. Just telling them to go home. And it means, therefore, you can work on the burden that is brought by levies on electricity and taxes on electricity and diesel and oil fuel in general. In other words, what I'm trying to say, the things that Ruto can do to make the people of this country happy will cost him nothing. Even if you shrink your budget, Mbadi, you are listening to me. The budget they are saying now is about 4 trillion. Even if you removed 1 trillion, because you have removed certain taxes, nothing will happen. Because we know, we have been told over the years by government itself, we steal 2 billion every day. Why can't you stop that? Why can't you stop stealing 2 billion every day? That's over 700 billion.
Badi says mwibe kidogo.
So, sasa, watu waumwe taksi kubwa mpaka wakufe wakilipa taksi kwa bei ya vitu juu ili watu waibe hizo pesa. Sasa kama mimi ni president, sinafunga miferegi tu. Na nchi hii, mtu hawezi kuiba kama anajua atafungwa. Wakenya ni watu waoga. We are not Nigerians.
Yeah.
No. We are not tough. Kenyans are soft people. Kenyans are cowardly people in terms of, Kenyans fear law like nobody fears law. Our history. If I had time, I would explain to you why we are submissive. Kenyans are very submissive, cowardly people. They fear authority. Kenyans don't respect authority. Kenyans fear authority. Again, the history, I've explained in a book I've written why things won't work in Kenya. Read it, it's just here on the shelf.
Can you just explain briefly? Why Kenyans are so scared of the law?
It is when Mzungu came here, Mzungu was meant to look like a god. In Mombasa, you could not land if you had any physical deformities and you are a white person to come here. You could not be allowed to leave the ship if you didn't have a certain amount of money. They wanted to create an image of a god in a white man so that black people here could work for the white man to avoid problems they had encountered elsewhere where the natives were not respecting white people. So the Kenyan person grew fearing authority. A Mzungu was like a god. So authority to us is like somebody's god. Kenyans fear law in a way many people don't fear law. So if Kenyans knew that if they stole, they will be jailed, nobody will steal. I'm telling you. Kenyans steal because they know nobody will jail them. But there are countries where jail means nothing to people. You watch documentaries from America, from where, anywhere. You telling somebody will go to jail, what is that? Jail is home to many people. You've seen those guys conducting business from jail.
Yes.
That's not fiction, it's real.
And so we come back and we ask ourselves the same question. Why aren't things working? Why can't the president do what you're saying, the right thing?
Presidents are sometimes held captive of those who put them in power, from both local and international. As far as I know, there are no forces within this country that can hold Ruto captive. I understand this country. There are no forces. There are no forces in this country that can force Ruto captive or Uhuru Kenyatta. If Ruto is held captive, it can only be by outside international forces. And a good example will be IMF. So IMF is telling you, today, your VAT is at 16, put it at 18. They don't care what it does to people. And you follow. The globalists want you to introduce bad things like GMOs, and they have an agenda, and you can't question. So those ones can control you. If you look at many of the structural adjustment programs over the years, from the time this started around 1980, 82, 85, like universities, students used to be fed. Use something called USAB, University Students Accommodation Board. Free accommodation, free food. And students, their work is just to read. Because reading is business. Studying is business. Scholarship is seen as business. Now, the IMF came and told us, what our watoto walipe. So what happens? Ndio ujue ni ujinga. Students began cooking in the hostels. Other than the social issues that are around, because watu wanaanza kuoana, even if you ignore the social aspect,
yes,
the cost to the universities, for example, on just electricity, leave alone the danger that would pose, because the students were using very crude cooking gadgets. That's why electricity, your average cooker in the house controls consumption of power, but a coil, it uses direct. So much, the universities like university will pay a lot of money, much more money perhaps than you need to feed people safely, comfortably, under healthy conditions. And then they have time to. Today, students spend more than 50% of their time hustling on matters of food. So, are you doing yourself, are you not doing the service to yourself as a country? Because some foreigners told you, let students pay for themselves, pay as you earn. So some of these foolish things come from outsiders. But from within, I doubt that we have sufficient power brokers to hold our president hostage. I don't think so. So you can do the right things.
And then we say to ourselves, and then the answer is, it's the Gen Zs that will change things.
Yes.
If the president can't do anything.
They will. Not necessarily today, not tomorrow. But let me tell you, Jad, even if you don't have a brain, do you think these children, your age mates and those younger than you, will watch and live in this state of hopelessness? Is that not stretching things too far?
Even if you don't have a brain.
Surely, even if you don't have a brain. Do you think these people are going to live in a country as they watch the misery their parents are going through and have gone through over the years? Because now, if things continue the way they are continuing, in another few years from now, you'll be watching your child die in your laps because you can't access healthcare. We are hanging in the balance. We are neither like in the West, like America, where they are strong on insurance, medical insurance, and if you don't have that, then you are going to die. Or there are those countries with a complete welfare state where we were before, where medical is free. So we are neither here nor there. And these things you are bringing shares, one shift share, nothing, they are not working. So on top of being jobless, but being a human being, maybe you have got somebody's daughter and you have broken the leg of somebody's goat, and you are staying with that girl. You don't have a job, you don't have house rent, you don't have food, your child is sick, they are dying in your hands. How is that sustainable? It has never worked anywhere. When people are pushed that hard, they come back fighting. So this is just going to be a natural. And why is it Gen Zs? Because youth have the energy. The recklessness. I want to break. Break inaanza kudevelop mtu akifika 40. Unaanza kuwa na caution na maisha. By the time you are 50, you think twice before you do anything. So hawa vijana ndio watarekebisha kila kitu. Kwa sababu they will not watch. Like today, let me give the Kenyans a good example. Today, you live in a village When you go home like for Christmas, it is only your home which is celebrating. Everybody else is mourning. Even the usual chapati of Christmas, it is becoming something rare once again. We thought we had passed there. Ati chapati watu nakula Christmas peke yake. The sort of misery. Jad, you've been to the villages, even my village. We were distributing free, what was that? Free solar lights. You went in those villages. Look at the homes you saw. How long is that sustained? That kind of poverty, that kind of misery. Do you think it's sustainable? Those in power had better smell the coffee. They had better wake up. It is not sustainable that just a handful of people will live well when the majority are living, they are not even living the existence below that of an animal. Their children will not take it.
Thanks for tuning into that conversation. We talked about budget, finance, and the future. Why isn't the president willing to change things? If he isn't that willing, it's the young people that will change things for this country. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.